and welcome to part 1 of this 5-day series. So today we're going to be focusing on the knees. Quite common is knee pain and also instability around the knee joint. So for the first exercise we're going to do, you're going to need a chair, or you can also use the edge of your sofa, whatever feels comfortable for you. You're going to take yourself to the edge of that chair because we want to keep the back up really tall and straight, okay? We're going to be focusing on strengthening the muscles that surround the kneecap, and for doing this we're going to do a leg extension. Commonly people do this in the gym with weights, but we're really looking to do this as a body weight only exercise to help build up the supporting muscles with your own body weight strength. So taking your hands to the side of the chair, back is up nice and tall, draw the left foot up and bringing the knee above. From here, raising that knee up, we're going to extend the leg out, fully extending and release back down. You should feel the quad muscle being activated as you press out. You can place your hand on the quad if you wish to and bring it back down. Extending, hold and releasing. We're looking for a hold of about 1 to 2 seconds just to remind ourselves and engage into that knee joint and around the surrounding area. So we're really working on those stabilising muscles before we release. Ideally between 10 to 20 on each side is ideal to start to build up that strength in that area. It's also a really good exercise because you're not putting any weight into the knee. So we're only working on the stabilising muscles, not putting pressure into that knee joint. Further on to this, we then have leg raises. So again, in exactly the same position, you will take your hands by the side of the body, back is up tall, shoulders are back. From here, extend the leg out, and we're going to raise the leg up just about an inch or so, maybe even half an inch. It won't be very high, but again, we're working into the stabilising muscles around the kneecap, and we're working into the quadriceps, okay? So really drawing up, pressing up, and keeping the toe flexed. That will engage all the muscles, so your hamstrings as well, running down into the back of the calves and so forth. So we really want to make this a complete leg extension, raising and lowering the leg. Again, around 10 to 20 of those on each side is more than adequate to find that strength within the leg. Don't worry if to start with as well, if you're suffering from quite severe muscle imbalance, you may find you can do maybe 5 on one leg and be able to do 10 with ease on another leg. If that's the case, ideally, if you can do 10 in this leg and think you can do another 10, I would recommend you stick to 10 for now so that this leg can catch up, because you really don't want to end up where one side is still overcompensating for the other. So if you are having that weakness on one side, allow the weaker leg to catch up, and then once you've got it at that point, then both legs can continue in the same vein and they can then build up their strength together, and thus reducing a chance for muscular imbalance. Okay, so from a standing point of view, we're going to work on our knee strength and our balance and stability. Obviously with your knees, they're connected in with the hips and the ankles, so we want to make sure that we are focusing in on engaging all of those elements as well as the knee. So the first thing you can do, using our chair, we're going to work on just going into what I would call a squat. But the squat that we're going to do, you're going to find that the knees may travel further forward than they would normally. Now the only reason I say this is more like a chair squat than a full squat that we might do in a gym, is that with this, at least you have the chair for support, okay? Making sure it's maybe pushed up against the wall so it can't actually go anywhere. So we can press into it, nice deep inhale, coming down and back up, okay? Now we want to make that a nice controlled movement so that we're working to lower and control that movement to the point that maybe we take one hand off and then eventually both hands off. So this would be the beginnings of a squat. So we're not coming all the way down, this is very gentle, maybe halfway down, pressing back up. Again, you're going to feel this in the knee joint, and we must be mindful that as we come down, as we're coming down, that the knees don't start to sink inwards. So again, it's a really good idea to maybe place your hands to the knees, so you're aware that as you're coming up, the knees stay facing forward, they're not starting to sink in. You'll straight away start to notice if they start to sink in because they're coming away from your hands. So you want to make sure that as we push up, we're pressing away, we're pressing the knees away. From here, moving into the final fourth exercise that I want you to practice, and this is your squat or leg balance, okay? So from the side, because you can see this a little bit better here, you're going to place and ground down the left leg, okay? Now taking the right knee, we're going to draw the knee up, bringing the foot behind, and we're going to look to sink down into this knee. Again, you can use the wall or maybe the chair as support to start with, and you're going to slowly lower yourself down and press back up. Obviously, this does mean that we're putting a little bit more pressure into the knee, but we're using body weight only and squeezing up. As you get stronger, you're going to look to engage the body more, pulling the tummy in, utilising the abdominals, and controlling that lowering phase. So I'm working into my ankles, my knees, my hips. I'm trying to keep my hips forward. I don't want to start leaning over to the left or the right, and control it all the way back up. Inhaling, coming down, whew, and exhaling. As you can see, that's probably not my strongest side, but it's always important to keep working on both sides, okay? Again, same as I said at the beginning, if one side feels a little bit weaker, a little bit less balanced, a little bit more wobbly, work on that side, okay? We all have our own muscular imbalances. It's not uncommon at all, but some people can be quite extreme. So if you're finding I could do 8 maybe and then 10 on this leg, that's fairly normal. I'm not surprised by that at all. If, however, you're struggling to get down for maybe a couple on one leg, but you can do a full 10 on this other leg, then that's when we need to think about where that muscular imbalance is coming from and where we're basically overcompensating. So always keep that in mind. Try to be aware of that and mindful of that when you're doing each exercise. So going through from your leg extensions, your leg raises, your squats, and then into your squat or leg balance, whatever you wish to call it. And again, just to show you with that leg balance from the front, you've got the knee tucked in here, facing forward, and we're taking the hands to the hips perhaps, or the chair, and you're controlling this descent down and controlling the rise, okay? And also just to note, as we're coming down, I'm trying to keep the knees fairly much behind the toes, okay? I'm not trying to come too far over. So if it's starting to sink forward, that's not where we want to be, because obviously if I took my hands away, I'd probably fall forward. So I want to keep my body up nice and tall, back is tall, and that will naturally mean that my knees can't go too far forward. And then from here, squeeze up. Try these 4 exercises out, 10 to 20 on each leg, and see if you can build yourself up with those exercises and note any improvements that you find there.